Alright, we are at the end of 2021, and what a year it has been. So what we're going to do, we're going to look at the sets that were released this year in Magic that have given us new cards. So we're not using Time Spiral Remastered, so I'm just going to ignore that one, because it was a reprint set. We're going to look at all the new gold cards. Well, not all of them, sorry. We're going to say what was my best pick from each set this year, and what I thought was my favourite, and two honourable mentions from each one. Yes, that's how we're going to start it off. However, contrary to this lovely list here, we're actually going to start with Modern Horizons, the boogeyman of this last year. So, Modern Horizons 2 came down, and without a doubt, anyone who's watched any of the gameplay here knows my favourite pick from Modern Horizons 2 was General Furious Roderick. In Commander, I'm trying him out in Modern. It's pretty solid extra moment because a lot of the removal has gone monocolored, so his ability to basically just flood the board. The 4/4s, not insurmountable, as even before he was printed, we were playing Hero of Precinct 1 in Historic. I believe he is like in my head lore, this is Hero of Precinct 1 getting promoted and moving up to General. Instead of commanding 1/1s, he now commands 4/4s. Solid card, great in Commander, okay in Constructed, you have to build around it, but you know, it's a solid card. Now, as for our close seconds, put in the Territorial Carvu. One red green, Dominion. Its power and toughness equals the basic land types you control. When it attacks, discard a card, you may draw a card or exile one card from a graveyard. This card just does an insane amount, particularly with the way Modern is shaping out now with the Menace of Ragavan and a lot of Dragon Rage channelers and things. Just having a big body early board can be easily done. Easily sway the battle. The triumphs as well basically mean that you can guarantee this will be at least a 3/3 on turn 2 if you have a fetch land or any kind of way to abuse it like that. And finally, my last pick for Modern Horizons 2 for an honourable mention is Asthma, and I'm not going to say the full name because I cannot pronounce it. I genuinely have enjoyed playing food decks with Asthma now. I like that there's a food payoff. I think that tutoring the Underworld Cookbook to hand is really good. I play it more in Commander. I think the deck in Modern has fallen off. But yes, I totally and completely have enjoyed playing this. So we'll move on now to Kaldheim. And what was our all-star card from Kaldheim? I mean, everyone could probably tell. It was Valky, God of Lies, Tybalt, Cosmic Imposter. The card that literally caused an age-old mechanic to be retconned. Cascading no longer could let you cast the backside of Tybalt, because I think it was Saffron Olive had a great video where he literally turn zeroed, like it was not even his turn, and he Tybalted on turn 0. Oh my word. It is absolutely insane. We run it obviously because of the synergy of Bring to Light being able to cast the backside Tybalt Cosmic Imposter. It is a great game break. I've had games where I've opted for this to break a board stall, both top decking Tybalt's a pretty good hit. I mean, my most common play now, since Kaldheim has been printed, has been Niv Mizzet. If we hit another Bring to Light and we have a solid spread of cards in hand, we don't hold the Bring to Light for another Niv, we immediately next turn will try and cast it to resolve a Tybalt, just to score some insane advantage. Yes, there's not much more to say about it actually. We never really cast Valky unless in Desperate. Yes, Tybalt Cosmic Imposter, solid one. Next up we have Kador the Doom Scourge, another Rakdos card. I personally love this card in Commander. I don't think it's much in any kind of other constructed format, but this has been an all-star at my LGS and in online games. So often in Commander, there's players that will just literally sit back. You'll see I'm a very aggressive player, but you'll see people who will be like, yeah, I have an Avenger of Zendikar and 7/7/7 plants, but I'm not going to attack because that 3/3 might swing back and kill me. Or you do have genuine board stalls where everyone has the means to kill someone on a swing if no one blocks. I mean, playing him in those circumstances is absolutely insane because without a pseudo-vigilance, somebody's either going to die or be left completely open. I mean, if you can run him in your Commander deck and you have long-ass games where no one makes a move, just throw him in and see what happens and enjoy it because it's hilarious. Finally, we have the Binding of the Old Gods. This is the saga from Kaldheim that basically was 2 in Golgari, destroy an on-land permanent. So it's basically, oh, my brain's gone dead. It's basically an Assassin's Trophy, but then next saga is we get the land, and then 3rd chapter Death Touch is not really relevant. I played a lot of this in Historic. It's very solid. I enjoyed all of the multicolored sagas. I hope we get more of them in the future. Right. Strixhaven, the School of Mages. This one was hard. So, I went with the best card, in my personal opinion, I enjoy playing the most, is Reconstruct History. Purely from a Commander perspective. 4 mana, return up to 1 artifact, enchantment, instant, sorcery, and planeswalker from your graveyard to your hand. I mean, if your deck can take advantage of this in any way, I mean, I normally get like 3 things back, but if you can get all 5 or 4 mana back to your hand, it's absolutely insane. I really think more people need to run this in Commander as like a recovery card. It is absolutely crazy. So for the honorable mentions, I've picked 2 low-level spells. I didn't want to put in Culling Ritual because I decided that while I do enjoy Culling Ritual, it's more of a hit for me in Commander. So since my top pick was Commander, I went with some constructed playable cards. I could not help but mention Expressive Iteration. This card is bonkers. It's played in Eternal formats now, like Modern. I believe it's even played in some Legacy formats. 2 mana, draw 2 cards is absolutely insane. And I genuinely believe this is pretty much, it hasn't completely, but it has really given the Prismari Commander a run for its money. Finally, we have Vanishing Verse, the removal spell that I have been abusing the heck out of in every format that I can. The amount of things this hits is absolutely crazy, and I've actually started running it over Kaia's Guile in other Eternal formats. Yeah, but as I said, Strixhaven was like a chef's kiss for gold cards. I mean, I could go through every school of Strixhaven and find probably a top 10 list of gold cards. So with that in mind, let's move on to the Adventures in the Forgotten Realms, which was essentially this was our core set for the year, I believe. So the coloured cards were far less prominent, but we still had some good ones. Again, it's going to be a top pick for Commander with Orcus, Prince of the Undead. This is a 4 mana 5/3, legendary demon with a potential X casting cost. So in Commander, it's basically a board wipe. It's basically Toxic Deluge or a semi-good reanimation spell. It's again just, I love that it's versatile. Like, it's evasive with flying and trample, so it's hard to jump it. It can remove creatures, return creatures. I've played it the most in decks in general. I've really enjoyed it. Moving on, we have Skelly summoning, swarming. Sorry, this enchantment is just. This is like old school battle cruiser magic for me in my token Niv decks in paper. I've loved playing it, where it's just like, hey, we've got skeletons and more skeletons and more skeletons. Yeah, this is purely a meaning fun card for me. I don't think it's like a great card, but it's absurdly fun to play. And finally, we have the classes. I'm highlighting Monk's class because it's the one I've played the most in Commander games, where 2 mana, a little bit of spell reduction into basically a 4 mana bounce, and you can bounce your own card. I've used it often to bounce Niv to give me another shot with it. And then 3 mana after that will give you essentially the a very strange version of Impulse Draw from Red, where you exile top card of your library, you can play it, but you have to cast another spell this turn. It's a very fun, very unique card. Right, let's keep moving to save time. We'll move on to Midnight Hunt, and we're going to start with Siphon Insight. I love this card. It's the exact kind of crazy silliness I love in Commander games, where it's like, I'm going to try and play a bit of your deck, see what you've got. And it has Flashback, which is just a great buy. Moving on, we have Galvanic Iteration. Another great card here that can double a spell, or we can double our double spell. If you have 5 mana, because you can go cast this, then cast it with Flashback, copy it, which will then make, it's big multi-spell synergies. It was also seen playing Historic in that busted extra turns deck that I'm glad is gone. Thank heavens. Finally, we have Croagling Counterpart. I love this spell. This to me is absolutely one of my favorite spells that came out in the second half of the year. Just the ability to just go, that's a cool Avengers Zendikar you've got there. I'll make a 1/1 copy of it and get it CTB and have it activated. Like, if you can play this card, because it is hilarious to get that kind of synergies. And our final set of the year was Crimson Vow. So I'm going to start with my favorite card, which was the Wandering Mind. I mean, you've seen in recent games I've been trying to use this more and more. I think it's a pseudo, basically it's a mini dig through time on a flying body that can be linked. Need I say more? And the fact that it hits non-creature non-land, so it can hit planeswalkers, it can hit artifacts, enchantments. It's the fact that it's not just limited to instants and sorceries really can buy this card some synergies. Moving along, we have the Kaia, the Geist Hunter. Still haven't played much with this myself, but I have been on the receiving end of this card, and it is so much better than I gave it credit for in spoiler season when I saw it. The +1, though the -2 is where everyone focuses because of its ability to double the creation of tokens, which is very solid. 1 turn, not doubling season, parallel lives. I got took out in an LGS game where my opponent basically used the +1 because I didn't realize it gives it to every creature in their aristocrat decks to give Death Touch to their Mayhem Devil, and he just machine gunned down the board. It was a really cool use of the Planeswalker, and I hope to see more of it. I hope to use it as well. And finally, my last pick for the year, we'll have, as an honorable mention, Hala and Elena Partners. It's 2 Golgari for first strike reach. At the beginning of combat, put a 1/1 counter on target creature, where X put X/1/1 counters where X is their power, and that creature gains haste until the end of turn. It's kind of like a mini Xenagos. It's really fun to play against. I wasn't 100% convinced, but I have now been thoroughly destroyed by my friend at the LGS Store's version of this deck, and I have now put it in some of my decks and to contest. This is a very strong ability and should be used more of. So, year in review of Magic. We had an outstanding year for gold cards. And gold card support in general. I hope it continues. I am hopeful. If I have to say one thing I would like to see next year, or like a New Year's wish, I would love to see more of the hybrid mana that we've seen a little bit of in recent years. I think seeing some hybrid mana 1-drops again, like Deathrite Shaman. I mean, if I had one wish, it would be that Deathrite Shaman could be unbanned in Modern. I think that will come. I don't know when, but I think it will. But yes, Happy New Year everyone, and let's keep reloading.